It's a really good question, and I think it's very much at the forefront of where people are looking critically at where the industry is going, particularly in this country, because it's very likely that within the next few years we will have a media landscape that's totally owned by quote foreign interests. My point about being global is that probably doesn't matter because Google will own everything, so or Apple will own it. So, but I think what I do see is a situation where you have this force of integration where everything kind of gets bought up and sort of stuck into ever increasingly big super planets. But you also have a contrary force where things break down and splinter and people break away. So there is a kind of an ebb and flow, I think, going on the whole time, and the companies that a lot of the companies have been bought up over the last 10, 15 years. The individuals within those companies already splintered out and are setting up new enterprises. It's just a kind of inevitability, really. I think it is. Of course, it's not an attractive prospect to be in a world that is bereft of public service investment. It's like it's like thinking of a world where there are no libraries, or thinking of a world where the options within the national health have been limited to one blood transfusion and that's it. But the commercial reality is pushing very, very hard. And the reality is this, which is that every public service broadcaster, whether it's a Channel 4 or in this case the BBC, costs the government money because there's no tax coming back. And the BBC is spending $3 billion a year and the government's not getting any tax for it. And if that was a deregulated, taxable business, the government would get a return on it. And they're also taking up all this all this broadband and all the news that they put out, and so it's difficult to see a situation in which it's going to be protected indefinitely. And there is a sort of argument as well, which is that you don't get the broadcasters, the public service broadcaster you want. You get the one you deserve. In a way, this is what we've ended up with, because there hasn't been enough militant revolt to keep it. And of course, amongst a lot of people, the reality is they don't know that they're watching a BBC programme anymore. They're online, even with iPlayer. You don't care what channel it's on. They might notice if iPlayer was just sort of switched off. In fact, there was one rebel statement at one point which just said they just shut the BBC down for 24 hours and see who notices. But it is unfortunately is one of those battles which I think it's very, very hard to fight retrospectively. So it probably will go. And to answer your question is yes, it will be very difficult, but it doesn't mean the end of storytelling, and it doesn't mean the demise of opportunity. It's just will be a different kind of opportunity.